Thank you everyone for joining. Today, I want to talk about why an investment program needs to be a pillar of any real estate industry sustainability program and why investing is so core to it. And today, I want to talk about one of those trends. And to some extent, even characterizing what I'm going to talk about today as a trend is probably the wrong lens to view it through. Instead, I think what we're seeing is kind of a wholesale political, cultural, and financial realignment in the world around one particular issue, and that is climate change. And there's simultaneously a shift in capital markets, in lawmakers, in customers, in tenants, in the general public that are holding organizations responsible for their role and their responsibilities in climate change in a way that they never have before. So I'm going to show a slide which is from the 2019 global climate protests. And so these images that you're looking at were called the global climate protests, climate extinction protests, and they occurred in capitals all throughout the world during 2019. And the one thing that is so unique about this moment is the breadth of the alignment that we saw across so many parts of society around this particular issue, climate change. I mean, last year, Greta Thunberg, the youth activist, was on the front cover of Times as Times Person of the Year. Larry Fink, BlackRock CEO, in his infamous letter to CEOs, emphasized that sustainability needs to be the core of what they're focused on. And you're seeing this ubiquitously, right? This has become a universal issue. And to be honest, that doesn't happen the world over that often. So, what does this have to do with the real estate industry and real estate in particular? And what I think, and I think what we've learned over the last year, is that the real estate industry itself is actually at the center of this storm in a way that is somewhat counterintuitive. And that's because the real estate industry itself is directly culpable. I would argue probably the most culpable industry in climate change of any other industry. And the stats kind of speak for themselves. So you can see it on this slide. The real estate industry consumes about 40% of energy globally. I mean, that's remarkable. On top of that, it's responsible for about 30% of greenhouse gas emissions, and it's responsible for 40% of all raw material consumption. I mean, that is staggering. And like I said, these stats speak for themselves, and they're oftentimes shocking to people because the real estate industry doesn't come to mind a priori as the industry to focus on when it comes to climate change. And somehow for the last decade, the real estate industry has managed to, I would almost call it, skirt the spotlight in the climate debate. And this has been the case as other industries like transportation and natural resources and manufacturing took center stage and were themselves the focus for activists. But I don't think it's going to stay that way. And actually what we've seen, and from this unique vantage point that Fifth Wall sits in, it's already started to change and the spotlight has already started to shift.